This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome to the Fast Break Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Anderson, and alongside me is Ricky Widmer.
What's up?
And Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
That was the second take. Ricky did something way douchier and said, nope, I want to redo this.
He didn't want to be known for that guy.
Really, it was I wanted to make sure we hit record on the camera so they could see us this
we got a camera in front of us now, so Ricky's got to up the what's upness, and it's awful.
Well, you got to put on a show. Got to put on a show for the YouTubes. Hi, YouTubes.
Anyways, we are going to be previewing the Pacific Division in the NBA. This is our last division. It's kind of sad seeing the divisions previews wrap up.
Getting specific about the Pacific.
Damn right, Dave.
I don't know, Dave. Before we started, wanted to get into the news, and we're like, Dave, we got one more division left.
I think our fans want more from us.
We'll be getting into the news. We'll be talking about Kyle Lowry. We'll be talking about Ben Simmons soon. Don't fret, everybody. And then we're going to wrap it up by talking about the teams rankings that we're going to be going into. We're in part dos. We're going to be we're telling you our rankings from 11 to 20. We did 21 through 30 last week, so check that out. And we just took all of our position rankings, our coaching rankings, put them all together, and added them up, and Ricky did all the math. So hopefully it's right. But anyways.
Yeah, Ricky math.
Ricky math.
It's all right, man.
All right.
And it's not my math. I'm not taking credit for it. I didn't invent math.
You didn't invent math, but you did
You
this
may have
math.
interpreted it a little differently than some people.
You're at the bottom, you get 1 point. You're the best point guard, you get 30 points. That's how it works.
We're just saying you did this math.
Yeah.
So if the math is wrong, blame him.
Credit due.
I
blame him.
used Google, and I just went enter and clicked all of them. And
Fair enough. Fair enough. Anyways,
computers, man.
Whoa. Let's get into the Pacific Division. We got the Golden State Warriors are going to be our headliner, so let's just talk about the Golden State Warriors because we saw the first showing of Steph and Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson all together in a preseason game, and holy shit.
Yeah, that was dirty. Like it was like a pickup game for them, and when they're up like 30-40 and Steph's just laughing at people chucking up shots, I don't know. That's a team I want to watch all year. To be honest,
they're going to have fun. They are going to have fun this year.
When Iggy comes up the court and tosses it behind his back to Klay, who's sitting out of bounds, or Steph out of bounds and fires up a three, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. If you haven't heard, I don't know how you haven't heard this, but Kevin Durant signed with the Warriors. So now you got Kevin Durant, who is our second small forward. We have Klay Thompson, who was our number one shooting guard. I'm sorry, Dave. We have, because you're a big
Do you
James
not
Harden
understand
fan.
James Harden's going to put up 30, like 15 and 8 this year?
It was 2v1. Number one. You put him at number 2.
It's okay now because he is now a point guard officially for the Rockets.
So he's the third best point guard in the league now? Russ and Steph.
You know,
They also have the second best power forward, and they also have the number one point guard. I don't know if you heard of him, but Steph Curry's pretty good. What should this team be doing? I mean, because obviously,
don't shoot for the record. That's all they got to do.
But was the record the problem? Like,
I think it was a little bit. It's kind of like I'm gonna compare it to a team that's actually gonna play an hour from when we're recording this in baseball. My Chicago Cubs. The big thing and why I'm so nervous there is all the history. Well, with this, it was you got the record. We talked about who's better, the Warriors, the Bulls, the Warriors, the Bulls. And then I feel like the pressure might have got, they ran into LeBron James, who for this generation, best player that we've seen since Michael Jordan. Mm-hmm. However, it was one of those things where it's like, okay, we got to win, going up 3-1, and they didn't close the deal.
Yeah, do you think it's more of a rest thing? So they'll probably be resting Steph, they'll be resting Klay, they'll be resting Draymond more?
I think this year they're just not going to think about it. Like last year, we thought about it so much.
Yeah, but in the postseason, it doesn't matter.
Well,
why were they thinking about the record?
Well, it was not just the record. It was, okay, we got the record, now we got to win. It puts a little added pressure.
Because if you become the chump who, puts up the best regular season record and can't bring it all home, then you're known forever as the ultimate loser.
I mean, look at what Scottie Pippen did right after they lost it. Come on.
I don't know what that means. I've never experienced that as a fan.
No. Completely unfamiliar.
2007 never happened, guys. But anyways, this team could do the record. They could break the record again. But
Yeah.
I think that definitely resting Steph more so he's going healthy into the finals or playoffs because obviously he dealt with that ankle injury. Resting Clay so he can go off in those spurts more often. KD's obviously dealt with some injuries as well. Draymond seems pretty reliable. Knock on wood for you Warrior fans, but. Honestly, does this team have what it takes to finally win it all? Because we know they can, but
Absolutely.
will they do it all?
Finally.
Well,
Finally,
after last
2 years
year,
ago.
after last year, I know they've won a championship.
Well, let's be honest. They won 2 years ago, and they came pretty fucking close to winning back to back. So I think saying finally is a little bit of a knock on this team.
Does this team have what it takes?
Can
to
they take revenge
actually
from
do
last
it?
year?
It's Warriors Cavs Part 3. That's what we're waiting for.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you sure?
The only one that needs to live up to this prophecy is the Cavs. Because the West isn't as tough as the East.
You're saying that?
Wait, what?
For the Warriors?
What?
Warriors are going to get to the playoffs, and then, they might have a little hiccups, but I am confident they go to the finals. With this team?
No, I'm just the whole West is easier than the East. My mind is blown.
I'm saying for the Warriors. For the Warriors, I am more confident in them making the finals than I do the Cavs.
Fair enough.
Even with the teams even the killers in the West, like the Clippers, the Spurs.
Because this
the
team,
Clippers.
well,
That preseason game,
this
50
team,
points, come on.
This team was so good last year.
Dave.
Yeah, they went down. They were down virtually 1-3 against the Thunder, but they added Kevin Durant. So you just had the best team get even better. I'm confident this team is a lock for the finals.
They lost guys down low, which is where they were abused at in the finals.
This team
You worried about that matchup at all?
I'm not in the playoffs. It's a different story.
No, that's my only question is because you're already having them as a write-in for the championship.
I'm not worried to answer your question, but I will say the one thing that'll be interesting about this team, if they start missing shots, what are they going to do?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They don't have scoring inside, so they need to hit their
Jump
shots.
shooting doesn't win championships, right, Charles?
No, does not. I believe LeBron James kind of proved that in the finals last year.
Well, LeBron James went Super Saiyan, so I mean, there ain't nothing gonna stop him.
But the thing is is it only making their shots or is it defense? Because looking at this team, I mean, obviously we know
it helps when you
system.
shoot lights out.
Yeah, they're a system, and the system's not changing. Kevin Durant only makes this team better. I mean, I don't want to Dennis Green and crown their asses, but I think we are set up for, if I had to put my money on it now, I would put Part 3 Warriors Cavs. Let's go get it done. I just want to see that in June.
Are you sure?
Yes.
What are the odds?
Oh,
The odds, I would, if I was a Vegas, I'm thinking
one of the wise guys.
2-1.
2-1.
2-1.
There's a 2-1 chance.
If that's the odds, it's not going to be like that far chance where you see they're a 60-1 favorite. No, this is a 2-1. Two best teams in the league. I just want to see them back in the finals, get that revenge match. 1-1, you got one. Who's going to win the best of 3?
Interesting.
It's pretty high odds there.
Interesting.
You guys don't think that the Warriors or the
not.
Cavs are going to get to the finals this year?
You don't think that injuries can happen?
Injuries can happen.
Anything can happen.
anything
The
can
season
happen.
hasn't even
But
started.
right
Exactly.
now, with the teams that I've seen, I mean, we're
No
not talking
J.R.
about
Smith.
the Cavs but look at K. Have you seen K. Felder?
What can he actually
seen
do?
Kay Felder?
What can he do that J.R. Smith
J.R.
Be
can't
a reliable-
J.R. Smith was
J.R.
a great
Be a
player.
reliable backup. Add
J.R.
some
Smith can go
defense,
clutch as
add
fuck.
some inside.
He had one
JR's a
dunk
huge loss.
in
Don't get me
preseason.
wrong. But we talked about this last week. But this Warrior team, though, it's just, injuries can happen. But the team I see right now, I'm confident they go to the finals.
Yeah, no shit. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, they're a super team. I mean, but the thing that every superhero has their weakness. I'm trying to talk about their weakness here. Is it the health? Is it the missing shots?
It's
Is
what
it
Dave
inside?
said. It's inside.
It's that low post
what Dave
game.
said.
They lost Bogut down low, and look, let's be honest. There's a point of abuse. If teams can drill them over and over down low, they're fine. Like that, they just it's completely reliant of their offense, their system, and again, leading to what Ricky said about it being a system setup. Kevin Durant came out, had some comments recently about it, how he was saying, I'm not as smart as I thought I was about the game. It's played different way here than what I'm used to playing. It's not a knock on OKC. It's not a knock on my past teammates or organization. It's just different. It's fun here, and it's fun where I was playing before, but that book is closed.
It's a knock on hero ball. That's what that is.
And I think that's what it is. It's here, everybody wants everybody to succeed. In OKC, it was, I want to win, and Russell Westbrook also wants to win, but we each have our own idea of how we're going to get there, and the rest of the team is a secondary thought.
Y'all sleeping on Zaza.
I love Zaza. Don't get me wrong. The man was a near all-star.
I'd be more
He
confident
almost
in
got
Bogut,
more
though.
votes.
I'd be more confident in Bogut, even though
Bogut was a better defensive presence, rim protector-wise. Zaza brings slightly better ability to get away from the basket, but they don't really need that.
Yeah, thanks for at least entertaining that Zaza quote. That was just fucking with you guys.
Fuck you.
Fuck you. Anyways, we know how good the Warriors are. You guys are probably nauseated at how good how much we talk about the Warriors. So
they kind of played against the Warriors. Just throw it out the window. You lost by 40.
There were people in Clippers jerseys there. I don't know if the Clippers were there.
I don't know if they were there either, but throw it out the window. It doesn't matter because once the season actually starts, I'd be a little bit more confident in the Clippers that they're not going to lose by 40, especially to the Warriors.
But what about all the overreactions for preseason? Can't you make all these assumptions?
That's
like
why
Mo Spates being amazing.
I can't wait for Thon Maker.
Oh well, there's always that.
He's gonna be so good.
That's
honestly,
why I
on
hate
this
the
team,
preseason.
Mo Spates, like that's a big pickup for them.
Do you think Mo Spates is gonna change this team though?
He's instant offense, and I really enjoy watching him play. But yeah, probably not.
Yeah, I mean
He helps them out though, because again, this is a team where it was always like, okay, you've got Chris Paul, you've got Blake Griffin. DeAndre Jordan is kind of a staple down low. I don't know how much longer he can keep going with his current pace. JJ, dude's been shooting fire forever, but they've been stuck in a rut, so they had to change something. They go out and Paul Pierce aged out pretty much. I effectively think nothing this year.
Yeah.
So Mo Spates is their pickup guy. That's their game changer. That's how they're going to change this offense, by adding another guy who can take long-range shots, who teams don't respect, so he can take those wide-open threes.
Do you think they should be changing their offense? Do you think they should kind of go to a John Stockton, Karl Malone thing where Blake turns into more of a scorer? Because Blake is supposed to be the superstar, but you usually don't think of Blake as a guy who can really change a game.
I think that'd be interesting.
I think what they could look at.
Define how you want Blake to be a scorer. Okay.
Heavy pick and roll.
Because I was thinking when you bring up do you want to go
he's got
Stockton Malone style, the first thing I think of, would that exact style work in today's NBA? But if you go pick and roll like you said, then that'll work.
I'm thinking heavy pick and roll with Blake and Chris Paul. Blake's got a decent shot from the outside, so he can go from the elbow and then obviously drive in if he's got a lane. He's also a decent passer, so he can find DeAndre Jordan if DeAndre Jordan's making cuts or something like that. He can even find JJ Redick, because obviously JJ Redick's just going to be floating around that 3-point line. I mean, I think that this Clipper team needs a change. It's like they have the personnel, but it's like, where the fuck? Like, why haven't they ever been good? Or why haven't they ever been, like, competitive? Like, where's a Western Conference Finals appearance for this Clippers team? Because all of these players are so good, they just can never put it together.
I'm going to pose out a question, but before I do, I want to say one thing that, because Dave was talking about Mo Spates, the thing that I think he's going to bring to this team is he was coming from the Warriors, and you look at the teams he's been with, the team that he was with in 2013 before he moved over to the Warriors that same season, the Cleveland Cavaliers. This was not the same Cavs team that had LeBron. He was there before LeBron came back home. To me, it was kind of like, oh, Spates is okay. He's fine. Goes to Golden State, finds his role with a system these last 2 years. Now he can bring that to this team. Like, hey, I'm a bench player. This is the role I'm going to bring off the bench, and I'm fine with that. But the question I wanted to pose is, eventually, do we start asking with the Clippers, hey, they got the talent. They got Chris Paul. They got Blake Griffin. They got DeAndre Jordan. They got JJ Redick on the outside. Is this a Doc
question?
Do we point the finger at Doc? I'm not saying that he should go. I'm just saying, does that finger get pointed that way to where it's like, you're not a bad coach, but there's just
the fit might be wrong.
Not mediocrity, but when you go to the playoffs, and lose. I know they went to a Western Conference Finals once.
And then they had injuries this past year.
But that was once.
I think that it's not really Doc's fault. I don't think it's really anyone's fault. I just think this Clippers team really has not gelled, because JJ had his best year last year, but then obviously Blake Griffin was hurt. And then obviously, DeAndre Jordan's still coming into his own as a player. I mean, yeah, he's fucking amazing down low, and he's a good defender, at least rim protector, but he's not, DeAndre Jordan's not a game changer. I think they want him to be this guy who can be like a Dwight Howard of old. Like they want him to be kind of a guy who can just be automatic.
Similar to Hassan Whiteside in Miami.
Pretty much, and I don't think he can be that guy. I think he's just elevated by the people that's around him. I think that
He did have that stretch, though. You got to admit, when Blake was out, where he was putting up like 20 and 18, 20
He's
and 15.
Still playing with Chris Paul, though.
Yeah. But again, if you're playing with Chris Paul, you're playing with Blake Griffin, you're playing with JJ Redick, how aren't you guys competing for a championship?
That's the thing. I'm not trying to make this a knock on Chris Paul, but is he the right player for this NBA? Put him in the 90s. He'd be easily the best point guard. He'd be the best point guard in the league. But I don't know if he is big enough, and I don't know if he's actually that good of a scorer enough to be that big of a threat where people are going to be, attacking them that much. Because look at this team; they don't have a guy who can be the last second shot for them.
But is it Chris Paul's fault, or is it, hey, we've paired?
Well, it's not Chris Paul's fault. He was just born in the wrong era.
But is it, hey, Chris Paul's a great talent. We've paired him with the wrong superstars with DeAndre and Blake.
I don't know if you can win with this team. I think it might be just this team is just weirdly composed because you have a lot of good players and you have a great coach.
I think the fit's wrong.
I just think that the players are weird. It's like kind of when you're doing a puzzle piece and it's like that one that like looks like it can really fit, but then you go to put it and it's just like this much of like a
and then you
fit
just
away.
Jam it in because you're like, fucking, I ain't finding the right piece.
Well, yeah, I guess.
or you could do that, I guess.
Or you could just flip the table like I do. But I think that it's more of this Clippers team just doesn't seem like they mesh well, and you kind of see that on the court, and it's just like it seems like there's
blow it up, son.
It seems like there's
Is there a clock on them?
2 years. Because Chris Paul's going to get old. Chris Paul's getting really old. JJ's getting old. And you'll have Blake and DeAndre, and you'll have Twin Towers down there. But then you got to get draft picks sooner or later.
Because, even behind them, bench depth, you've got Jamal Crawford. You're kind of on Austin Rivers.
Ooh.
Paul Pierce, the ghost of, soon to be Rip. Like, he's done. Yeah. So this team, I think their end is very soon. And I think if they don't compete for a championship this year, pieces are being moved.
Will they compete?
I don't think they are.
I think
this is a disappointing year for them.
Ricky?
Define compete, because they're going to be a playoff
Western
team.
Conference Finals.
Yeah,
no,
Western Conference Finals.
Not a chance. They might get to the second round if they're lucky.
Really?
In my mind,
yeah.
If they're lucky?
If they're lucky. And I say lucky.
You said they were going to be like a third seed.
I say, no, 4.
4, okay.
They're going to be the
Gotcha.
4. Because I'm still putting the Thunder are my weird team. Because I feel like Russ can carry this team. I feel like Billy Donovan can coach this team. But do we see a swap with the Clipper and the Thunder this year? Right now, I think I'm going to have them locked into 4 when we get to our final predictions before the season. Mm-hmm. With this team, it's just I say lucky because of also what Dave mentioned last year. Injuries seem to bite this team, and the older you get, the more chances for those injuries.
Yeah.
I like how you tried to finish this sentence right there.
I stopped myself because
it doesn't happen often. I mean, we haven't done that in a long time.
Damn.
It's the We Agree podcast, not the We Agree podcast.
That was weird.